Ethics Week. Are y'all enjoying yourselves so far? Because I'm really excited for Ethics Week. So please forgive me for them letting me go last. I probably should have been the person that went after the director because I'm super loud and excited and happy to go Ethics Week, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do, we've learned about all of these hypos. We learned about the different MDs that we have. We also talked about the 9 post-employment rules. I want to give y'all a little bit of homework. Is that okay? Okay. I don't sound excited. Somebody said no. Too bad. Okay. So consider the following hypothetical. You talk to Vega. You want to do some outside employment. You decided that, you have time after your job with the district. But now it's time to consider which job you're going to take. And what I want you all to do is choose carefully. I'm going to give you 3 options. Who's ever played a this or that game? Raise your hand. Okay, I see some people. This is this, or that. Okay? So, the 3 very important jobs that you can choose from. 1, you have sanitation department. You will be a Cooper Scooper for the circus. Okay? The next one is a crime scene detail cleaner. Okay? These are the only options for your outside employment. And then the last one, the very last one, is sewage cleanup. All right? I want you to take 60 seconds, talk to a partner, and I'm watching you on the back who said you weren't going to do the homework because I might call on you. Take 60 seconds to tell me which outside employment job you would take. The second one we have. What's the 4th option?
I'm asking. Do we have like a 4th?
Nope, only 3 options. Okay. You got the Cooper Scooper for the circus. You got the sanitation person that does the sewage. Okay. You all have all the 3 points. Okay. Crime scene cleaner. Yes. Thank you for being a good student. All right. Is everyone ready? 60 seconds. I hear some people talking already. I will rudely interrupt you when the 60 seconds is over. Okay. All right. Go for it.
What was the primary job?
You don't have a primary. We're just talking about our side of those are the only 3 side jobs.
That job's already taken.
Okay, for the circus. That job's already taken. 30 seconds, everybody. 30 seconds on the clock. So if you all have not discussed, you have 30 seconds. I see some smiles. I wonder what are you all smiling for? Are you gonna not have a part-time job? Unemployed? Okay. Okay. All right. Here's some good discussion. You all got the job ready? Okay. Let's wrap it up in 15 seconds, everyone. 15 seconds. Okay. We are coming back to the big group. So tell me, what is going to be your side hustle? What's going to be your side employment? I'm going to let people volunteer first. I'll take 3 volunteers. And then, if no one volunteers, I'll just choose one. Okay? Yes. What's your name?
Monique.
Monique?
Oh, we get the microphone.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. You're not freestyling?
No.
I know. I can do that. Okay.
So we're a group of pet owners.
Okay.
So we're going with the circus.
Y'all going to the circus? Okay.
We're sticking with what we know.
Do we have any other circus folks here? Oh, okay. Well, the Universal Circus is coming to town. I'm pretty sure they're taking applications. All right. I can understand that. Okay, so you're familiar with the. Okay, got it. Won't go any further. All right. Who else would like to volunteer? Anybody choose anything different? Cooper Scooper? Yes, ma'am.
Crime scene.
Crime scene cleaner. Okay.
I'm not a pet owner. I don't like dogs, so.
Have you been around like Bud and a nurse or something like that? Or
No, not really.
brave, I like that. Okay, that would probably pay the most too.
Exactly. That was my thought.
All
I'm running with money.
right, who is giving up the crime scene cleaner? Okay, we got 2, 3. Okay, brave. They will make the money. All right. Last but not least, anybody choose sewage? Y'all rather clean up after the pets.
Yeah.
Interesting folks. Got it. Okay. Well, thank you all for participating in that. As you all think about these hypos that we're going to discuss today, keep that in mind. Keep your hypothetical side job in mind. Put them against the hypos and think about how you would react if it were you that had to make these decisions, okay? So let's get into it. Again, I am attorney advisor Brenda Keels, and this is part-time employment, full-time accountability. Why are we talking about outside employment all day today and a little bit tomorrow? We're talking about this because there's been an uptick in outside employment cases after the pandemic. People want to make sure they have security. They want to make sure that they're in a place where they can ethically make some extra money. Point blank period. And we're going to teach you how to do it ethically, okay? So it's not that Vega doesn't want you to spread your talent. We're just going to show you how to do it in an ethical way. So let's go to the first slide. You all seen these before. Asia went through these, and these are questions to ask yourself. This is not an exclusive list. You don't want to just stop here. You want to start with this. Think about it. Ask yourself these questions. And the reason why we put these up here is because as we go through the hypos today, we want you all to ask yourselves these questions. So we're going to start with the first one. And the first question that you should ask, will the outside activity interfere with my district government employment? We heard a little bit about this earlier. Does this outside job scooping poop at the circus actually make me tired when I go to my district government job? Does it make me miss meetings? Think about those things in your hypo, because if the answer to this is yes, you might want to call Vega, okay? So let's go with the first one. Do I have a volunteer to read the hypo for me? It's cool, I'll do the first one. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, back there, the gentleman with the glasses. What's your name? Gregory. Mr. Gregory's going to do it.
Yeah, do for you now. All the energy.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you, Gregory.
TP processes permits for DOB in the evening apart from the district deployment. She works for a company that expedites permits. TP only works on Maryland permits, but recently our supervisor at her part-time job has been assigning her DC permits weekly. TP refuses herself at DOB when she gets DC permits. It takes an hour of annual leave every day so that she can start her part-time job on time. What are the issues? Discuss.
Well, I'm happy to ask Gregory because I'm ready to discuss as well. Great. Perfect. So let's think about all the things that we've been learning today. We went through these 9 principles that we should think about when we're considering outside employment. Let's think about the issues that might come up with this. So we have this person who actually does permits for DOB, but in the evening, she also works for a company that expedites the permits. What's popping up in your mind? I can't hear you. Conflict, right? Because we're gonna say it loud. That's a conflict right there, and we want to know how we can fix that conflict and remedy it. Any other things that you all see? Sorry?
Leave every day.
Yes, leave every day. Abuse and leave. Why would that be a problem? She has to leave. She should take it. Oh, okay. So she should not be working for you all because it's not for the right reason. And agree, you should not be taking leave every day because that can interfere with your job. Right? Yes, sir.
Deems it to not be interfering with the job. If the supervisor approves of that leave and it deems that it's not interfering with the job, doesn't the employee have the right to use their leave for whatever they choose?
That is actually a really good question, and I'm happy that you're here with us for Ethics Week because in the words of a really smart supervisor, a ethical violation is an ethical violation. So even if your supervisor says, sure, you can do it, it's your duty as a district government employee to either check with us or to make sure there's not any conflict. Okay? I see your face. You have a follow-up question?
Not a follow-up question, I don't follow the logic in terms of what.
Well, let's break it down a little bit, right? So we can break up.
Just want to interrupt. I just wanted to maybe just make it clear. No one in the district government can authorize you to act in an unethical way.
Right, of course. Taking consistent leave, like, take this out of the hypothetical.
Mhm.
Taking consistent leave weekly is not unethical in and of itself.
Well, so this is the thing. So say your supervisor has been approved in the leave, right? But your colleague reported you because somebody mentioned this subject report. Oftentimes, colleagues report you when you start affecting, right?
Right.
And they are getting sick of doing extra work and covering you, so they reported you. And as soon as we received that case, we've got some initial evidence that it is interfering with the district, right? And so it depends on the circumstance. Make a determination that it's interfering with the district work. But just by nature of your supervisor signing off on something that is otherwise unethical, that doesn't mean that it is okay or that it is ethical.
Of course, I'm just having a hard time understanding why it's unethical to take consistent leave.
It's not always unethical to take consistent leave. And so I think that's what we're trying to discuss in the hypo is that if there's a potential there, that's one of those things that is a red flag. If a person is taking an hour of leave every day, that means that they're sort of going to be doing 8 hours and it's not 7 hours. And we're going into the problem territory. Right at the outset, is it a problem? We don't know, but it is definitely potential for a problem.
And I see that my colleague Maurice wants to add a little bit on that. Maurice, can I give him an example before you do? Okay, so think about it like this. For example, you might take leave once every 2 weeks or something like that. But think about the person that is working in a job where they have to see people every day and they're counting on them to be there. Whether it's like for benefits, for human resource or something. If you're taking that leave every single day, you're kind of shortchanging the districts of the service that we're supposed to provide to constituents. So not saying that everyone is in the same situation, but think about it in the most extreme way where this could become a problem. Okay, Maurice?
Yeah, I was going to say that taking the lead in and of itself isn't a violation. If your supervisor approves it, you can go ahead and take, leave for whatever reason it could be. But if you take a job that has a conflicting shift with your DC government employment, that alone would be a conflicting job. Like it would be a violation to take a job that had an overlapping shift. So if you're taking the lead because of the overlapping shift, that's what.
Thank you.
Hey, does that make sense?
Brenda,
Okay.
I have one more. Okay.
Yes.
No, you said, does that make sense? Yeah, I follow.
Okay, and if you have any questions, you could contact Megan and we can talk a little later.
Sure, thank you.
Your check's coming up on the screen, boy. I hope
Yes.
we're
Yes.
all right. All
I
right.
hope so too.
Attorney-client privilege and confidentiality.
Oh, were you gonna say, do you have a question, Mr. Brenda? Okay. All right. The slides aren't advancing. Chat, we aren't moving right now. Can you all see this? Well, let's talk a little bit more about the issues as we're waiting, okay? So again, I'm happy that you all pulled out the conflict of interest issues that's fine in here, as well as some of the issues that went along with the time and leave. And we also talk about leave in ways in which appropriate leave that you should take. So you wouldn't be taking sick leave when something like this happens to work your outside government job, but
It's moving now.
appropriate leave. Yes, I see a question there.
You said it's moving?
Yeah, I was
The
just
Keels
gonna
just said
point
it
out
was
that,
moving.
Okay.
Under the DPM, normally supervisors shouldn't be asking employees. I think normally the supervisors shouldn't be asking the employees why they're taking annual leave, but the DPM does say that annual leave should be granted primarily for the purposes of vacation time.
All right, snooze on.
Restoration,
Do not
that
disturb.
sort of thing. So I think if there's a consistent.
So what am I
request
sharing? I'm
and
sharing
a need for
this.
another purpose, then there's a situation that would be a problem.
Thank you so much for adding that. Does anyone have any comments or questions on that? Great. Any other questions regarding this topic while we're transitioning through slides? Okay. So we'll go through the actual things that were spotted in Kiki's situation. First, we have that the outside employment overlaps with the district work, since she has to work both jobs on both sides. And when we think about this, it can kind of bleed into the representational violations. Think about a table, and you're always on one side of that table as a district government employee, and then your outside employment is on the other side of that table. When you think about if those two entities have anything to do with each other, start thinking about your job duties. Do I process papers as if jobs for grants? In a Kiki's situation, would I have to do the same thing or something similar in my outside employment? And that could possibly be a conflict as well as a representational issue, okay? Especially if your agency handles grants and you have like a nonprofit or something. Thank you for fixing the slides. Okay, let's go to the next one. Uses government resources. Do I have another volunteer to read the slide for me? Okay, thank you so much.
Sam is a full-time information technology specialist with DCPS. Sam also has a contract as a full-time consultant for Bot LLC. Sam is required to be in the office 5 days a week at DCPS, so she sometimes uses her DCPS phone and email account to respond to correspondence regarding bot matters throughout her workday. All of Sam's bot colleagues believe that she is working 100% remotely from home. What are the issues? Let's discuss.
Thank you so much for reading that for me. Okay, what issues do we see here? Using government resources. What government resources she use? Email. The email accounts belong to the district. The Adobe accounts belong to the district. Email accounts, cell phone, time. Thank you, Mr. Gregory. You said time? Time. Okay, so she split her time. All right, let's see if you all were right. Turns out you're right, okay? So, you're definitely working on matters on DCPS tour of duty. You should not be doing that. Your government tour of duty is your government tour of duty. There's always something to do in district government, so there's not downtime to do your outside employment. Don't do it. We also have that she uses her phone as well as government resources to do her bot work. And I think that some people think that they're being effective in multitasking, but that's not how it should be looked at when you're thinking ethically. Asking other employees to participate. This is super interesting. I'll read this one for us. Okay? Kat is the deputy director of MODA. That's the Mayor Office of Talent Appointments. Kat supervises several MODA employees and has an executive assistant to help her with administrative and scheduling matters at MODA. Kat is also a co-owner of a construction company. When Kat is really busy at MODA, she acts as her executive assistant to help her with matters concerning her startup construction company and personal errands so that she can stay focused on MODA work. Sounds ethical to me. She's still getting the work done. Is it ethical? Raise your hands if it's ethical. Raise your hands if you think you can get away with it. Very good. That was a trick question. Very, very good. I was looking around. Okay. Why would this possibly be a problem? I mean, the executive assistant isn't, doing too much. She's not giving them any responsibilities that she should be handling. Why would this be an issue? I hear voices, but I don't know where it's coming from. Did you all say something over here? It's not her responsibility. Thank you. It's not her responsibility. So we're not pulling someone into our unethical behavior by allowing them to do some things for us on our side business when they get paid to do work at the district, okay? So we don't want that to happen. Okay, and we'll go to any questions about this?
We're having some technical difficulties.
Questions?
question.
Yes, of course.
Is it safe to say you cannot use annual leave for outside employment at all, regardless if it is consistent or inconsistent?
No, it's not safe to say that. Usually it's okay. I would say contact Vega for circumstances so we don't do a blanket statement, but usually on certain days, as long as it's not consistent or egregious where it interferes with your district government work, it's okay to take leave. Maybe you have a situation where you do work part-time, but on one specific day, you have to leave a little early. Okay, maybe that might be okay, but not every single day as a part of your duties here and for your outside employment. You're like, okay, I get off at 3:30, I have to be at my other job by 2:30. I'm not taking leave every day, just to make it clear. Okay?
I was gonna ask that, wouldn't the executive assistant also be responsible for doing work while the executive assistant was on her job?
Yes, yeah. So what is the executive assistant really supposed to be doing? It takes away from district government work and the talent that we hire here to get the jobs done. Now you're using that executive assistant as your special assistant, and we don't want that. Okay? Great. Any other questions? All right, yes, sir. I'll come around. Let me give you the mic.
So in this situation, does the executive
That's right. So you definitely should, and if we come to you and you, like for an interview or something like that, and you do have information, we understand that it can be a sticky situation if we're not in the culture or the agency that you all are in, but it is important for us to get to the bottom of these investigations so that constituents know that we're handling dollars and ethical rules correctly here in the district, okay? So yes, they do have a duty to do so. Yes, ma'am.
I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about whether employees, we just talked about there's a reporting duty, whether they can report anonymously, and what to do, what's the sort of the threshold for suspicions that somebody might be violating the ethics rule, and how do you know whether your suspicions, you don't know? Ready to close this back in?
Thank you so much for asking that question. That's super important. Did everyone hear the question? Okay, so the question was, do we have any means that you are able to submit a complaint or to say something about something, but you don't want anybody to see your business anonymously? You don't want your name there. So we do. You can go on our website or you can come in person. It wouldn't be anonymous if you did it like that, but just want to let you all know the options. And you have a form, you fill it out, attach all that you can, whatever the allegation is, and then it's our job to make sure that we investigate to see whether or not there's any merit to it. So to answer your question, you give us what you can and we'll meet you where you are and try to handle the rest. Sometimes it's anonymous. It kind of, if it doesn't include everything, you may not know who else to go to. But if not, hand it off to us and we'll do the rest. Okay, any other questions about that? Okay.
Hey, Brenda,
Yes.
I just wanted to add something really quickly. This speaker sounds terrible. I just wanted to add something really quickly about reporting anonymously to us. You do have an option to allow us to know who you are, but still protect your identity from being public. That's an option when you go on our online complaints portal. Please tell us who you are. We cannot follow up with you and ask you for context, clarity, more documents if we don't know who you are. We will protect your identity. Our investigations are confidential.
Maybe if somebody like served us with a subpoena, there have been times when we've like cooperated with other agencies and allowed them to see some things in camera, but your identity would be protected. But we're gonna need to talk to you. Most people do not knock it out of the park when they're submitting a complaint to us, and we're like, wait a minute, this is what we need from them, we need to ask them this. And we can't if you're completely anonymous and you don't leave us any information to contact you.
Okay. So I'm gonna read the next slide to you all because I have it on my cell phone.
Yes, we need to move
Yes,
on.
we are going to move on. I have it here. The next thing that we're gonna talk about is financial interest. Can you all hear me in the chat? I hear it going on.
That's why they should have came here in person.
We are having a party here in person, though.
Right.
Okay, so the next typo, I'm gonna read it slowly since you all can't see it. We're talking about financial conflicts. So when you have a financial conflict, the thing that we want you all to ask yourself when it comes to your outside employment is my actions on this job or in my district job dedicated or pointed or influenced by financial benefit for myself or someone I'm closely related to, okay? That was a mouthful, but don't worry. You're just thinking about whether or not your job has any sort of possibility or risk of being influential to someone else's financial benefit or yours, okay? So let's read, I wanna read this typo. So Slim is a program specialist at the Mayor's Office of Community Affairs, MOCA. In his role at MOCA, he often works with Me DC, a company that has contracted with MOCA. Slim began working with Me DC, as part-time, and he recuses himself from working on MEDC related matters at MOCA. However, Slim works in a very small safety division. One of his colleagues retired and the other one is out on extended leave, making him the only MOCA employee who can approve MEDC's invoices. So, does everybody understand what's happening without seeing it? We go over it. We have this person, he is working as program specialist. He also works with a nonprofit. The nonprofit submitted an application for an actual grant that his DC agency was offering. Everybody else in the office is gone. He already recused himself, but he's the only one that can actually sign off on the grant. What issues do we see here? Sorry? Conflicts. Why is it a conflict?
He's directly related to the situation.
Exactly. Thank you. Both sides of the table. Yes?
Everyone has a supervisor. I thought we talked about that earlier. So there's someone
Okay.
that person could report to. So the fact that they didn't say anything about it.
But they're all out. They're all out. Gotcha. Yep, they're all out. Everyone is gone. He's the only person that can do it and they need it done. So, I'm sorry? Okay, so delay it until they come back. Delay my permit until you come back because you have the second job?
This is the one right here. That's her computer.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know about, I need my permit. Are you sure? Okay, so in this situation, do you all think recusal was effective? Who says yes? Who? Okay, yes, okay, stand on that. We're going to compare, you have a partner. Why do you say recusal is enough in this situation?
Yeah, I could just say until she tell me next slide.
You said he's listening, so it's okay for them? What do you say? Help your partner back here.
There's some supervisor out there that person can report to. Exactly, the director, somebody that can handle this. So that person, the fact that the person is making a decision on their own is not enough. There has to be someone they can report to. They should continue to find that supervisor.
Okay. Who else here would like to challenge that idea that recusal is not enough in this situation or effective? Why do you say it's not enough?
But you can delegate, or you can send it up the chain. Somebody else can sign off on it. He does not have to sign off on it.
But what if everybody else is done?
That's in that office. There's somebody over that office that can sign.
So somebody from the other agencies gonna sign off on this
No,
one?
somebody that's over top of that particular office or that director, whatever it is.
Okay,
Somebody else can always sign, don't, let's stop, no.
No.
Somebody else can.
okay.
It's called checks and balances.
I would say that if I was the person that wanted my permit, somebody else could sign, but ethics, I don't know if that's a thing that we should be doing, because when you think about the remedy and the safeguard that is recusal. Oh, thank you. Next slide, please. Okay. But when you think about those things, remedies and recusal, you want to think about it being a safeguard, but also a remedy. So when you do it, you hope that you're being ethical because you're already establishing that this is a relationship that I have. I don't want to touch these things. But think about loyalty. Your job is the district government, okay? We always have options. We could choose one or the other. But in situations like that, when you're working with this entity, and maybe it's too connected. This is just a hypo, so we don't have all the facts, but maybe it's too connected for you to say, okay, well, they'll be back next week, or she's about to come off of maternity leave, we can do this. But in other situations, that might be too much. Where now we have, so many permits that we have to sign off on because you can't touch any of them. And now you're not effective as a worker to me. And I'm not gonna say anything, but somebody might say something. The answer is that you should be thinking about this. Slim should have contacted Vega, and we would have told him, hey Slim, who else is there that could possibly do those things? Maybe that's a conversation, but what if it's a 5-person agency? I'm not saying that exists, but some agencies are smaller. So that's a determination in the conversation that we would have to have, which is why we say contact Vega. So there's not gonna always be a right or wrong. Like Adrian said in the beginning, there's always facts that matter towards these. I used to have a law school professor that said facts matter, and they really do. So we want y'all to think about that. Let's go to the next one.
Brenda,
Yes.
I just wanted to say real quick, I think this one was written to be painted into a corner, basically.
It was a trick question, though.
So the thing is if you think that recusal might work, that's fine. But if this person recused and they're the only person in the department, there is a potential that they could be ineffective in their job. But if you can properly recuse, that's perfectly fine with us. But I think this one was written to show that sometimes recusal is not possible, and there are instances where you kind of have to stop the outside activity. So that's the moral of that story. We could debate about whether there is some sort of way to recuse and still be effective in your role, but sometimes you might not be, and sometimes then our advice is you got to get another part-time job.
Yes. Yes, sir.
I was going to echo what you're saying. To me, the takeaway is communicate. Like, don't make a decision in a silo all by yourself, but talk to Meg and talk to whoever is there.
That's the correct answer. Yes. Call. May I have the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna speed read. Brian is an ANC. Brian also owns a consulting firm. Brian drafts promotional materials for the consulting firm. In the material, Brian explains to potential clients how he can leverage his role as ANC to help their businesses. Many companies hire Brian as a consultant to reap the benefits of Brian's service as an ANC. So Brian's like, listen, if you know what's good for you, get with me because I'm an ANC and I have power. What should we be thinking about?
Position for personal gain.
Sorry?
Improper use of government position for personal gain.
Right. What else? Okay. Anybody else? Definitely using his position. He's probably calling Comcast and a radio station saying, hey, you know who I am? I'm an ANC. You cannot do that. So let's go to the next slide and see what other issues came out of this. So you were absolutely right, short and sweet. Brian leveraged his government service and position to solicit business for his consulting firm. So when you're working your outside employment, keep it separate. Maurice said earlier that sometimes people will target you for extra and outside employment because they know that you're district workers and they want that information and expertise that you could help. So think about those things. All right, next slide. Thank you. We're using confidential information. You want to be careful about that. We're going to go to the hypo, which is the next one. Thank you. Okay. Britt is a CAH member. Britt is also the director of a nonprofit that helps fund art programs in school. At a CAH meeting, Britt hears discussion about grant funding plans for the next fiscal year. CAH does not plan to publicize any grant information until the beginning of the next fiscal year. So the information isn't out. At the nonprofit staff meeting the following Monday, Britt tells her employees that CAH is planning details so that they can get started on preparing the grant application ahead of the request. So she takes the information she learns about opportunities for the grant, puts it in the ears of the folks at her nonprofit, and she wants them to get a head start. Are there any issues with this? I hear. What about you in the back? What do you say? Why is that an issue? Sorry? Conflict of interest. Why? Yes, so not only a conflict, but also confidential information. So when you hear stuff on your government job, public office is a public trust. You know, we are in rooms where the public isn't there. We'll get the information out to them, but that's processes and it takes, you know, procedures for that. She should not be taking this to her nonprofit to say, hey, let's go ahead and start on this application. No one else had that benefit, so it's not okay. Okay, any questions? All right, go to the next one, please. Thank you. Again, Brett used the information that had not been available. Brett also used the information that she learned from her government position. Go to the next one. I want to keep us good on time, so if we're going too fast, just say, Brenda, slow down. All right. Physical and mentally impaired. This is such a great one. This is so easy because you come to your job and you're sleepy, you can't do your job. Easy. Let's go to the hypo and see how you all do. Eric is a physician assistant for DC Health. In addition to his 9-to-5 work with DC Health, he works overnight at a youth group home 3 nights a week. Eric is often tired during the day and has started taking naps in his car. If it's on your break and it turns from 30 minutes to 3 hours, it does not say that. Aha. Still with us, huh, Gregory? Got it. All right. Eric's colleagues have started complaining that he is not reliable as he used to be. Okay. So what's the problem here? If he wasn't asleep for that long? Yes.
He has a medical condition.
Well.
Unrelated. So his coworkers don't know
Mm-hmm.
his health.
Yes.
They're just presuming.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because
Yes.
he's tired.
Yes. I feel like, you know, my heart goes out to him, and also hopefully he should get ADA accommodation. And so funny that he wasn't falling asleep with this before he started at part-time. He just started falling asleep. I wonder if he was born with this condition or if it just happened. I don't know. But I'm happy that you will be his lawyer. You'll be hard to go. No, in all seriousness, those things are something that happens. You know, we get complaints from everywhere, and sometimes people don't know what the individual situation is. So if he had this situation and something was going on, it's all circumstantial. Perhaps he would be moved to somewhere else because maybe he's driving the truck and then this thing happened and now he can't, you know, show up. But think about this in a way where maybe it's not a medical thing. You worked on your job, now you just can't. It's simple things. You're tired, you're missing meetings, things like that. So, if he did have a mental or physical impairment that made him late and go to sleep at work, we would find that out when we did the investigation. Okay? Any questions on that? All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, again, he has 2 full-time jobs, increase the likelihood that he would not be able to function. He's also tired on his tour of duty, and he's not reliable anymore. Let's go to the next one. Thank you, and the next one. So this one is representing third parties. I want you all to think again about the job that you selected, either as a crime scene cleaner, a pooper scooper for the surface, or a sewage waste manager. And I want you to think about this when we talk about representing third parties. So, Kizzy is employed with DOEE in its support service division. Kizzy, in her personal capacity, is also the president of an organization called Green Beans. Green Beans champion climate change and other environmental concerns affecting the district. While at work, Kizzy finds out that the Air Quality Division of DOEE has issued an RFP for green companies. Excited to help Green Beans, Kizzy drafts and signs a response to the RFP and submits it to DOEE. While her bid is pending, Kizzy has had several informal informational meetings with DOEE employees, during which she asks questions and advocates for her company. What's the issue here?
Representing extra government or outside.
Yes. How is she doing that? Do you want to expound upon it a little bit more?
She's representing her company.
But what about the fact that she's doing something good for the environment? She's not baking cookies, she's helping. Climate control is a real issue. We need Kizzy. Okay? Is there anything she could have done to continue doing this? Had a partner. Why did you say have a partner?
You can not be involved, you can have the partner represent.
Yes.
Have
Well,
information.
her name should not be on that application, right? And she might want to recuse too, if she's the person that has to select just to say, hey, my partner submitted this, I'm not a part of it, choose who you want. But I won't harbor on this. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir?
Does Brenda determine, maybe that's so much the earlier question, does Brenda determine what Kizzy could do? Can Kizzy, she can be the grant manager for this, so she can, like you said, review the applications. I mean, is there, would you provide kind of all the steps that, all the things that have to be reviewed, or that she's so involved, she can't be involved at all?
That's a good question. So when you contact Vega, we'll look at the facts, we'll see your job description, we'll see what exactly is that you're a part of in your outside employment, as well as what the opportunity is or how you're representing this third party potentially against the district. And we'll give you advice on the violation. In some instances, if we can find a way for you to do this in an ethical manner, we'll share that and leave you up to make the decision. But like we said in the beginning, it's not that we don't want people to spread their talents. We just want you to do it in an ethical way. So yes, contact us, tell us the facts, and if there is a way, we'll brainstorm, try to figure it out. But sometimes there isn't. Okay?
What happens if support services do not handle grants?
Well, and that department doesn't handle grants, and you're still a part of it. I think that it might be important, one, for you to recuse. Again, overall, contact Vega, because maybe your job description is a little different. But overall, in general, if you work at that agency, you're representing a third party if you submit a grant to that agency with your name on it as an employee. So there are a lot of facts that matter when it comes to figuring out what the representational conflict might be. But contact us, because there's no bright line rule outside of you can't represent a third party institution. Yes, ma'am?
Two questions. So one, I think we're assuming here that Kizzy, when it says she found out about the RFP through her job, but that was not confidential information.
Okay, we can assume.
Okay, that just wasn't brought up, so I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure.
I like the way you're thinking though, because that could have been in the hypo for that, yep.
And then for representation, so just to be clear, I understand that it can be a partner, a relative, whoever, as long as they do not work for DC government. However, they can still hold, they meaning the DC government employee can still hold whatever position they do for the outside activity. Like if they are still president of their organization, they can still be president. They don't have to like step down. Like they just need to make sure that when it comes to negotiating like the agreement, negotiating pay, like whatever, that they're not doing that, and that they are not on any like official, like their name is not like on any official document. So they can still be in the background doing the puppet strings. They just can't be in the forefront with their name or representing.
Well, I'm gonna answer that with caution, and this is why, because it's very fact specific. So if you're in a actual agency where you are, handling grants, right? And you have a partner and you know you're a part of this nonprofit and you're like, hey, babe, submit this grant. I'm gonna tell you all the words to put in it. And you're technically recused, but you're going to walk around and say, oh, I really wish that we can give a grant to Green Beans or someone else. I mean, I know a partner, I don't know. That it can get a little sticky. So the reason why I don't answer it with a direct answer now is because we don't want to put out there that it's always not allowed or it always is allowed. But in that situation, it just depends because it's not a way for people to get over or to sneak through, but we legit want to make sure that people aren't using their government position to make sure to get opportunities that they wouldn't get otherwise. It has to be fair for everyone in the district.
So actually, Adrian, can I turn to you? So like in the examples that we have for DCPS or like the after school program, right? How would my question so it's okay if the DCPS employee did not actually sign the agreement or participate in negotiations, but they can still be president, CEO of the organization or whatever in those circumstances?
Yeah, I think what Brenda was trying to get at is, we have to also make sure we consider the other side, which is you don't have a conflict in your district government capacity, but in your outside activity capacity as, president of the Green Beans or whatever, you can still be president. You just can't represent Green Beans before the district. And what you should also do is put a recusal in on the district government side, just to say, if somehow Green Beans comes across my desk in my official capacity, I will take no action. You just write it. It's, I want to non-ironically say the word prophylactic in the training, but it is, just a measure to make sure that you're doing everything right. But yeah, in the outside activity capacity, you can hold these important roles and fiduciary roles, and those entities that you hold those roles in can do business with the district. It's just you, the district government employee, who needs to stay out of it.
Got it. So they couldn't. So that person couldn't then be an instructor in their business, working with DCPS students as well.
So the thing is, we have said in the past, as long as you're not representing the business before the district, you can kind of come in and do stuff under the contract would be the representation, right?
Right.
But if you are say you're an employee of a company that's contracted with a district government agency, and you're just coming in to perform some sort of service under that contract, you're not representing before anybody, you're performing the service. We have said that you can do that. And actually, the example was, I want to say it was DCPS, it was a group of teachers that were hired under a contract with some sort of outside company. And it involved them training other teachers, but it was just on school grounds. But they were training the teachers on behalf of the company, but they didn't talk to school staff. They weren't doing anything. It's just the location of where the business of that company took place. And they had no other business other than training those teachers. That's fine. There's no representation there other than they're just teaching other teachers the materials, right? And so, again, we make every effort to make it so that you can do the things that you want to do and, capitalize on your talent, skills, and abilities. That's what we just always say, reach out to us, because where there's a will, there's a way. Every now and again, though, we're like, no, sir, no, ma'am, you can't do that job. There's no way to make it work. Every now and again, but for the most part, you can do the outside activity you want to do.
Thank you. Thank you for that question.
I just wanted to kind of reinforce some of the questions that were going on earlier, that there are separate issues, right? There may be a representation issue, but there may also be a financial conflict of interest issue, a use of resources issue. And so the representation issue is you can't be representing a third party before any district agency, not just your own, anyone. So you can't go across, the hall, you can't go to like another agency and sign on behalf of that third party. And I want to reinforce also that there is a federal criminal prohibition associated with this. So it's not just that we're saying under the code of conduct, there's this criminal statute that's involved that prohibits district government employees from representing third parties before the district, where the district has an interest or is a party in the matter. So that's why we're kind of focusing on these particular provisions, because they are the things that we want people to take seriously.
Thank you so much for that. All right, and we're going to end this with our last principle. And if you all get this one right, I'll tell you a knock-knock joke. All right? Y'all don't like knock-knock jokes? All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so illegal activity. We'll go to the hypo, the next slide, please. Thank you. Madison is a hearing examiner for OAH. Madison is also a co-owner of a company that grows marijuana and manufactures marijuana products. Y'all okay over here? Okay, what do we think? What's the problem with this? Is everything okay? Yes, sir. What's your name?
Alexander.
Mr. Alexander.
Assuming her growth and manufacturing does not fall under federally authorized growth and manufacturing, which some exist, then she's doing illegal activity.
Okay, which means?
That she cannot also hold her job.
Excellent, that's correct. Any questions about this? Okay, so we recognize that this is legal federally, but we work in a district, so just be careful with things like this. And you want to make sure that you're not engaging in any outside employment that is considered illegal, whether it's federal or local. I see Mr. Gregory and then Mr. Alexander.
So is it the issue that it's illegal federally? Or let's say it was an activity that was legal in the jurisdiction the person lived in, but it would be illegal everywhere else, right? And the district, let's say the district is silent on the activity, right?
Okay. So when it comes to this, we want to think about where we're working, right? So district government, we have local rules that recreational, medical, sometimes we move it away, little marijuana, cannabis. However, we also are governed by federal regulations as well. And because of that attachment, it attaches itself to the violation. So in a world where maybe we weren't under federal law for certain things, perhaps, maybe, but you also have to think about the DCHR implications of it as well. So we like to put that out there because some people think that just because something is okay for the district and we have, different boards and things that regulate it, be mindful when you're doing outside employment. Now, what you do in your home might be a little different depending on what job you have. But when it comes to working at this cannabis shop, or doing something that is actually not legal, all encompassing, it's going to be a problem.
Brenda?
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to say, I think the exact wording in the rule is state, federal, and other laws. It basically means you do have to be a law-abiding citizen. When we apply this rule, like say in the context of somebody committing an actual crime, the way we usually apply it is we wait for some other body to make a determination that a crime has occurred, right? So, we usually like somebody goes to court, they're found guilty, then we can say that person has committed a crime and they've engaged in illegal activity. The way the rule is worded, it does cover most illegal activity. So it's not, I do think it says other in the rule, and that's basically abide by all laws. So I think that would cover a different jurisdiction.
So like this example, it could be actually legal, right? Depending on it's compliant with the 22 Farm Bill and other considerations.
Could be, but
and so as to your point, would Vega make him USAO office, the USAO, and then await maybe a grand jury or an outcome in their criminal and then pursue it?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, there's instances, we usually, at the outset, there's discussion about whether or not we want to pursue something because we do not want to make a determination about what is an illegal activity or crime or whatever. And so it kind of just depends on the circumstance, but we could make a referral, and if there is a determination made, then that's also an ethics violation. I will say, in actual practice, what ends up happening is oftentimes the wheels of justice turn so slow. So by the time it comes back, we're just like, ooh, it's stale. You know, they are already going to jail and required to pay restitution, so we may end up letting it go. But we do like for there to be some sort of adjudication and determination made that this person committed a crime or engaged in illegal activity. But the rule itself, it covers just about everything. So,
do you have a question?
Just to get specific, though, we're not talking about marijuana consumption here, right? We're talking about outside activity.
We could be. Depends. You probably wouldn't go to jail for marijuana consumption, and like if you got like some sort of ticket or something like that, that's kind of small potatoes for us. But just generally, like the actual Texas rule does cover everything. But smoking some marijuana outside or being under the influence. Now, what I will say is like district government, they do drug tests and all that stuff, so there's other considerations. And I think, we all know now that just because something is not a crime doesn't mean that your employer can't prohibit you from doing it. That's a separate issue. But it's not likely that we will pursue something like you consuming marijuana, especially when there's other avenues for district government to make sure that, the employees are drug free.
Any other questions? All right. Well, are you all ready for my super great knock joke? Okay. I need everybody to be hyped. It's so good. It's so good. But y'all gotta be hyped when I'm knocking. Knock, knock. Who's there? Least you could do is contact Vega for outside employment, right?